What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for another daily news update where we're gonna talk about Jorginho, a player that the transfer market hasn't really kicked off, but a player that will divide the fan base between two extremes. And it's just May, basically. It's just May, and we're gonna talk about getting Samardzic apparently, potentially, on a free transfer. And to top it off, it wouldn't be a start of a week after a poor result if Gaglione didn't speak and asked Juve to basically sign the entire world. So that's the topics. Before we do that, like the video, subscribe, and let's go. Okay, so first topic, Jorginho on a free. Now, that's one of those players we will get linked with every summer, basically. But this summer, even more so, for a very obvious reason. One, he's free, but the obvious reason is Giuntoli, and he knows Giuntoli very well. So it's an easy link. Now, is it a throwaway link? I don't think so, because as I said many times, we need a lot of work. We don't have the budget to do all the work, and we're going to need to sign free agents. That's just the case. That's just what it's going to be. We tried it with Felipe Anderson. It didn't go through. We will try again with multiple players, Jorginho being one of them. Now, on Jorginho, I'm not the biggest fan, and people do know that. But if the club tells me we can fix the back line, the front line completely, and we can add quality signings to the midfield, but it means you need to take Jorginho for a 2-year deal, I can live with it if I can see the idea behind it. Because I don't think we can sign, and I'm just naming the names. I'm not saying it's all these players. Thuram, Koop Miners, Samardzic. We don't have the funds to do that. Or you might have, but you need to sell Bremer, Vlahovic, and then you look back at the back and you're like, that got worse. Or you look at the front line, you're like, okay, now that got worse. So I do understand we cannot boost every single position because we just can at one summer. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, if the club is like, we get Jorginho and that's about it, that's it, then yeah, we have an issue because it's not that. Now, my issue with the team is there are no leaders in this team. And with leaders, I also mean a player who, because I don't think Jorginho is a natural born leader, by the way. It doesn't strike me like that. But what I've always talked about leaders is on the pitch, do you make the difference on a weekly basis? Now, if I look at the league we are in, Serie A, and if I look at our midfield, would he be an improvement? Yes. Would he play pretty well in the league? Yes. Would he play pretty well in Europe? Yes, because he's done it for Arsenal. He's done it for Chelsea as well. Now, is it a free transfer I'm jumping for, I'm excited about? No, absolutely not the case. And usually I'm completely against these signings, and I will be if he's the only one. And I'm like, yeah, that's messed up. It's like selling Bremer. You sign Calafiori, and you're like, job done. That's not job done. That's a poor job done. So that goes the same for Jorginho. However, if the plan is clear, and we tried to do that with Di Maria and Sule, and then Di Maria said, I'm gone, and Sule is gone, and we look back and we're like, yeah, what the hell was this? We brought in Di Maria to kind of groom Sule. Both of them are gone. Now what? That's mismanaged. That's a complete flop. That cannot be the case, because Fagioli will be back as well. You need to keep that in mind as well. You had Ferguson being a target. That's gone with his ACL injury. Like, you need to find new ways, and we need to sign free agents. Now, obviously, we mentioned Modric. That's just not going to happen, different players. But we mentioned Modric. That's not going to happen. Jorginho is one of those players that could potentially be on that list. So let me know in the comments what you think, because I know he will divide opinions so much, and I'm against and I'm for. But it depends on so many things. It's not a player like... It's a player that would potentially make sense if you know how the transfer window ends. Maybe at the start of the window, you'll be extremely confused. But towards the end of the window, you can be like, okay, I get it now. But that goes for so many signings we will do. We might sell a couple of players where you're like, what? And then towards the end of the window, you can say, it makes sense, or no, we messed up, basically. Now, that's the Jorginho part. of the talk. The second part is Samardzic on a free. Now, I don't know how true this is because this is really weird. I'm not gonna lie. Even though I don't think Udinese thought to be getting relegated. They never imagined to get it relegated this season, I think. So maybe I'm wrong. But apparently, Samardzic could leave on a free or an extremely low fee if they get relegated to Serie B. At this moment in time, they're kind of on pace to get relegated. You just assume they're not going to get relegated and they will find a way to stay up. That's, I think everybody is assuming that will happen. But there is a chance it will go down. So that means Samardzic on a deal. Now, on a free. If you like Samardzic or not, on a free transfer, you take him. In the summer and January, I was like, yeah, he's a player we miss with his attributes. Now, in the summer, there are better options. Are we in a position to get these better options? Probably not, maybe, but then you need to blow your entire transfer budget, basically. But in general, there are better options. But if you tell me you can get Samardzic on a free, you jump on it. And every club will jump on it. Napoli will be back. Inter will be back shamelessly because even though they kind of disrespected Inter, if it's a free, you just forget about these things basically and you go again. So if it's a free transfer, it will be a dogfight. It will be a dogfight. So I refuse to believe that even if they get relegated, it's a free transfer. Now, if they get relegated, you can knock a price off that fee because he will push for that move, and people know you're relegated. You better take that money now because you're kind of in trouble, and the player is not going to play in Serie B. So it could be a win-win in both cases in terms of if it's free, if it's true, which I really doubt. On the other side, it could be very cheap, and you get Samardzic, and you add potentially a player that could do a very good job for you, squad-wise, starting, whatever, for a very cheap price. So that's something we need to keep an eye on because Samardzic will be linked with us all summer long until a decision has been made. To top it off, Gaglione spoke and he said we need to sign Koop Miners and Pavlovic and Modric, and the list goes on and on and on. And he said, if Allegri reaches Champions League football and wins the Coppa Italia, why should he be sacked? Because it's poor. There's no improvement. Champions League, nobody's going to get praise for Champions League football. If Motta comes in and he reaches Champions League football and it's poor, he will get called out. If he reaches Champions League football, but there's a clear identity and we're weeding out players and we're bringing in quality and we're actually building something, people will stick with it. That's not the case now, and that's why everybody's like, forget about Champions League, getting Champions League, which is still not certain. We can do it if we beat Roma on Sunday and winning the Coppa Italia. Nobody's going to sit there and be like, this has been a good season. The last 3 years has been positive. Nobody on this planet is going to say that. But it wouldn't be a start of the week after a bad result if it weren't for Gaglione to speak up. So that's it. Let me know in the comments. Samardzic is on a free. Jorginho on a free. That's the crazy news of the day. But yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys. Ciao.